So breaking news, Everton have just sacked their manager in Ronald Koeman, and hallelujah, couldn't have come at any better time as he was just running this club into the ground this season with poor position placements, using tactics that didn't fit to the strength of the squad, and overall just having a bad time when it comes to doing anything productive out on the pitch. So who is going to be taking over as next Everton manager, since they are now a rudderless ship? Will it be Carlo Ancelotti? Will it be Thomas Tuchel? Will it be David Moyes? No, can't be David Moyes. No. As it says below, this is a Toffee Takeover, and this American is taking over the club and seeing how I can do better than Ronald Koeman. What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here, and welcome to a brand new series here on the channel. Of course, the first ever FM18 series, even if it is only a beta save, but it's still an FM18 series called the Toffee Takeover. And if this is your first time here at the channel, please do go ahead and give it a subscribe, as there's going to be more FM18 content coming down the pipe in the near future, so get yourself on that so you can get yourself notified for when those videos go live. So what's the whole aim for the Toffee Takeover? Well, it's basically how well can I do with the resources given to me, the same resources that were given to Ronald Koeman. How well can I do in all competitions compared to him? Now, obviously, because of that, there's not going to be any sort of first transfer window. I've completely crossed that out because all the other transfers have been made over the summer. So we're just going to have to go with this, and there are going to be no new transfers coming in this first window, unless I do decide, of course, to pick somebody up on a free, but there's going to be no transfers made, no transfer budget in this first window, just to try and keep it a little realistic. And for those of you who are new to the channel, this first episode is going to be reserved as an introduction, an overview of the club to see who exactly I'm working with when it comes to player personnel, who is injured, and how that's going to affect me building on my tactics, as well as who I'm going to be going after in the transfer window when January hits. So first and foremost, let's take a look and see who we have loaned out here at Everton. There's 4 players on here that I would have loved to have brought back into the squad: Brendan Galloway, Matt Pennington, Tyus Browning, and of course Henry Onyekuru, who Everton just picked up this past summer, and they loaned him back out to Everton for a season-long loan. And as of right now, Everton really need wingers, and it's just unfortunate that we cannot bring him back. We cannot recall him because he is currently out at Anderlecht. And I mean, look at his pace. He's got some decent pace about him. 16 there, 17 acceleration, some okay technical and mental skills. But like I said, because of the injuries to our wingers, we really are lacking on that side. So more than likely, we're not going to be playing with a lot of wide formations, at least within the first half of the season. Like I said, Tyus Browning, Matt Pennington, Brendan Galloway, definitely players that I would have loved to have brought into the squad, just because the amount of depth that we have on the center backing side isn't the best, and also who we have at the center backing side is getting on the old side, because Ashley Williams, Phil Jagielka, 33, 34 years old, looking to try and start to replace those players just because they are getting old and starting to decline physically. Now, as I said before, Everton are coming into this with a lot of injuries. Taking a look at who they have out: Ross Barkley, Yannick Bolasie, Seamus Coleman, Funes Mori, and James McCarthy. And of course, the big ones, the major injuries are, of course, the Yannick Bolasie and Funes Mori, because both of them had themselves some damaged knees. And I want to say that both of them ruptured their ACL, so that automatically is an 8-9 month period where they're going to have to recover. Yannick Bolasie should be coming back in game roughly around December, January time. Funes Mori's out for an entire year. And when we take a look at the roster proper, I'm just going to get rid of all of the injured players from the roster. When you take a look at the roster proper, you can't talk about Everton without talking about all the new signings that they just brought in during this past summer. And of course, the big one is Sandro, the striker that they just picked up from Malaga. Now, in real life, he hasn't played, and I didn't understand why Koeman didn't play him, maybe just didn't have any faith in him, but just take a look at his stats. For a 22-year-old, that is a decent striker. Supposedly was supposed to be the Romelu Lukaku replacement, but just like I said, never had a chance. 16 finishing, 16 first touch. He's got himself some decent physicals about him. Vision could do with a little bit of work there, same mentally, but overall, this would be my #1 striker going forward. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, what are you going to do with Wayne Rooney? Well, Wayne Rooney is more than likely going to be relegated to a backup player. If not, try and fit him in a bunched center attacking mid spread. I know, I said bunch and spread. That's an oxymoron, but I'm going to try and have 3 center attacking mids going forward at the start. Wayne Rooney would, of course, be one of them, and I don't expect him to do all that much. Just sit in the hole and probably spray out passes to the other midfielders or get the ball up over the top to Sandro. Now, of course, the other center mids that I'm talking about, the center attacking mid that I would love to use going forward, Gylfi Sigurdsson, free kick master. And of course, he's got himself an 18 free kicks. He's going to be playing every single free kick, both direct and indirect. Decent crossing as well, so if I want to play him out on the wings, even though that's not really a good idea, I can absolutely do that. He's got himself some decent long shots as well, which is why I may stick him as a cam, maybe even as a shadow striker. Who knows when I build that formation. And then, of course, Davy Klaassen coming in from Ajax, the 24-year-old, looks himself to be a decent shadow striker as well. When I took a look at these stats, I thought, how is he not a striker? How is he not a striker with, well, maybe that's because he has 13 finishing, but he's got some great mental stats about him. He's got decent physical stats as well. So yeah, with the plethora of center attacking mids, the plethora of number 10s that Koeman signed during this offseason, I'm surprised that he didn't try and bunch them all together, instead playing them out wide, which is probably what I'm going to be doing with my formation, is bunching them all together and just having a 3-headed, maybe even a 4-headed monster going forward to try and take down any single defense that's in our way. Jordan Pickford, of course, the new #1 goalkeeper that Everton have picked up, and taking a look at his polygon, he actually got himself a little bit of a stat boost between last year and this year. 16 communications, 16 in the one-on-one, 17 reflexes. He's not the fastest, but 8 pace, 8 acceleration is better than most goalkeepers, so he can get out there and, if he wanted to, become a sweeper keeper, but I really don't like playing sweeper keepers. And of course, sitting alongside either Jagielka or Williams is going to be Michael Keane, the new pickup from Burnley, 24 years old, easily the best center back that we got right now. And just taking a look at some of his physicals, 16 pace, 16 acceleration, he can go after some of those fast strikers that the Premier League have and go and close them down, preventing them from getting any single shot going. Defensively, decent there, 14 marking, tackling, and positioning as well. Decent mentally, decent in the air as well. For 6'1", I would expect him to have a decent heading stat, 16 there, and a jumping reach of 14. So both offensively and defensively, when we're playing corners, I'm going to rely on him to get the ball out of our area. Now, after analyzing the roster, this is the formation that at least we're going to be starting out with because of all the number 10s that Ronald Koeman picked up at the start because he couldn't get himself enough number 10s. We're going to be going with a 4-2-3-1. Very, very bunched, very, very narrow to try and utilize all of those number 10s. And of course, I am going to put the wingers on the bench, so if need be, then I could swap out to the 4-2-3-1 wide and put the wingers out there. But for now, want to try and utilize all the center mids and central attacking mids in their natural position. So that's why we're going to be going with this going forward. Now, as I said before, this is just a primary thing. It's not going to be set in stone. And after taking a look at the formation, this is going to be primarily the starting lineup that we're going to be using going forward. So, of course, Jordan Pickford in between the sticks, Leighton Baines, Phil Jagielka, Michael Keane, and Mason Holmgate, as well as John Joe Kenny and Cuco Martina, potentially on that right-hand side. I can't wait till Seamus Coleman comes back because we don't have a great amount of right-back options there. So, for now, Mason Holgate. Sitting in the middle of the park, we got Morgan Schneiderlin and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Morgan Schneiderlin being more of the holding mid, whilst Gylfi Sigurdsson can push forward. Like I said, not really too keen on these roles right now. It could be a deep-lying playmaker. They could also be a Carolero or a Metzala, one of the two new ones that I could potentially have. I still have yet to decide on what I would like to use going forward. As far as the 3 attacking mids, Davy Klaassen best suited as a shadow striker, so I put him on this left-hand side since he's right-footed, get him good chances at goal. Wayne Rooney is going to be an advanced playmaker, and Nikola Vlasic is going to be an advanced playmaker on the other side, with, of course, Sandro as a poacher sitting up top. So yes, we do have a lot of attacking prowess, a lot of players going forward. And just taking a look at the graph, yes, I do realize that I'm not going to have a lot of fun times along the attacking mid, or I should say the attacking wing front, because I don't have attacking wingers out there, which is fine. I'm going to play predominantly through the middle in the hopes that something good will happen. Like I said, with all of the attacking mids and all the shadow strikers that we have, just completely blast through the middle of the tactic, blast through the middle of the opposition in the hopes that we score multiple goals. Now, as I did say before, I wasn't going to be using the first transfer window, so I started late in the preseason. We've already played a few of our friendlies, but it gets us a lot closer to our Europa League matchups. And apparently in our third qualifying round, we can either take on FC Vaduz, of course the Liechtensteiner team playing in Switzerland, or Floriana FC. I've not heard of Floriana. Apparently they are a Maltese team, so it either a Liechtensteiner team or a Maltese team will be our opponents in the third qualifying round of the Europa League. You figure that should be an easy win going forward. And then, of course, we'll go from there and see who we get in the playoffs. And if we get past that, Europa League proper. Of course. Almost forgot. We got to talk about the new addition to Football Manager 18, the dynamics aspect, both the hierarchy and the social groups. And first and foremost, let's take a look at this nice little pyramid that we got going on here with the hierarchy, with me, of course, sitting up top as the head coach. Underneath me, the team leaders, Leighton Baines, Phil Jagielka, and Wayne Rooney. And honestly, Baines and Jagielka, they do make sense. They've been at the club for a long time. They are well respected. Wayne Rooney just coming in, maybe it's because he's an elder statesman, maybe it's because he's, I guess, well respected within the game, maybe it's because he's a former Evertonian, who knows, but apparently he's a team leader and he's one of them extremely influential members of the club. Behind them, highly influential, we got 9 players there. Some of them have been at the club for a long time, which makes sense. Behind those, we have the influential players of Schneiderlin, Keane, Balassi, Besic, Klassen, and Pickford. Now, 3 of those are new players, so I don't really understand why they're there, but maybe it's because of their ability and because of their personality, which put them in as influential players. And then everybody else, Cuco Martinez, Sandro, new players there, Nikola Vlasic sitting there as well. Some of the youngsters in there, of course, they wouldn't have any influence because, well, they're young. So that's what that is. And actually, you can click on these players and they will show you what part of the social groups that they have going on. Instead of looking into the social groups tab themselves, you can actually click on each of these players and you will take a look and see what part of social groups they are in. Now, if you click on your name at the very top, well, depending on what type of manager you are, you can either have yourself a team that loves you or a team that hates you. And because I have chosen to be myself a Sunday League footballer with, I think I said, a National A license, people aren't going to respect me. So it's going to take some time for me to warm over these guys and showing them that I am a good manager. Now let's get to the other side, and that's social groups. And a lot of the players are part of the main core social group, which says that this group is made of players who have been at the club for roughly the same amount of time and are of similar ages. That doesn't really make sense because there's a lot of players of various ages, various times at the club, and I don't understand why they just lumped everybody into that social group. You only got 4 outcasts. That's Cuco, that's Vlasic, Sandro, and Pickford. Makes sense. They are 4 of the new players that really wouldn't have possibly fit in with everybody else, but I still would have thought there would have been at least one other social group, but not just stick everybody into just a core thing. Right, so that is the introduction done, and I hope it gave you guys at least a decent glimpse into the squad, of what I'm working with, and what Ronald Koeman had to deal with before he got the boot, and hope that I can do better than what he did. Now, of course, nothing is set in stone. Everything is going to change formation-wise, personnel-wise. Please let me know in the comment box below what you think about what I'm starting out with at the very least. Will it work? Will it won't work? I don't know. It's still not even the start of the season yet. We need to still play matches, and that's going to happen in the next episode. We're going to be taking on either one of the 2 Europa League teams just to get our feet wet in this series. So until that time, guys, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you liked what you saw, please do go and drop a like, share it with all your friends, and if you want to leave a comment in the comment box below, please go and do so, because I appreciate every single comment that you guys put down. But anyway, I've been Gendo, and you've been awesome, and I'll see you next time. Take care, and peace out.